Prince Edward Island's Fall Flavors is presented by Sobeys.
Malpeque Bay, Prince Edward Island. For some folks, this is Shangri-La. This is Mecca. This is the sort of place you make a once-in-a-lifetime pilgrimage, because behind me are the world's best oysters. Hi, I'm Chef Michael Smith, and welcome to Fall Flavors Online. Every single one of the millions and millions and millions of oysters produced on Prince Edward Island every year is considered a Malpeque oyster, whether it comes from this bay or not. But we've got a lot of smart producers here that have so much pride in their oysters that they brand them. So we have more than 50 different brands on the island. Oysters are a very big deal around here. We are Oyster Island, and nobody knows that better than Jeff Noye of Valley Pearl Oysters.
Jeff and his family have been fishing this legendary bay for generations. He's one of the hardest working guys I know. In fact, in his spare time, he's actually the mayor in town. He represents so many who take so much pride in our famous oysters and their distinctive flavor. Prince Edward Island is a sandbar, so our oysters, well, they don't have strong mineral flavors. They're known worldwide for their briny sweetness.
So most importantly though, Jeff, how do you eat an oyster?
Oh, well, the way nature intended it, you know? Oysters just like people, way better naked. Don't want nothing on it, just right out of the water, get her in here.
There it is, you heard it from the master. I like a little bit of heat with my naked though, so let's get cooking. Jeff's an awesome guy, and his oysters are equally amazing. So now here's how to actually open those oysters. Here's how to shuck, slurp, chew, and swallow, and present an oyster. First, obviously, choose a Prince Edward Island oyster, then be aware of the parts of the oyster. The cup, the flat, sometimes known as the lid, the round, and the hinge, and the action is in the hinge. Here we go. This is my favorite shucking knife. It's been with me for a long time, and I like to shuck with a black folded towel to protect my fingers. So, find that hinge, and with your knife, work it inside the hinge. Anywhere at all that you feel resistance is the right spot. And once you feel that resistance, here's the secret. This is not a lever that will break the oyster. This is a key in the lock. Think strong twist. That really is the secret. No lever, twist. Here we go. In I go, and now twist. Okay, so what I just did was break the abductor muscle that's holding the oyster together, the muscle that opens and closes the oyster. It's broken, but I haven't cut it yet, and it's right below my finger. And so now I'm going to work my knife above the oyster to this general spot and scrape the shell to cut that abductor muscle right there. Here I go. So watch the tip of the knife. It's coming to here. So there. That's what I just cut. That's the abductor muscle. Here it is here. You can see clearly the oyster is not connected to the shell. It's just that muscle. And so now my job is to cut under that muscle, and I do it as more of a scrape than a cut. I'm scraping under the muscle. There we are. I'm doing my best to keep the oyster level, so I keep all the moisture in the oyster, the brine of the oyster, and that's how it's done. So there's the shuck. Now for the best part. 3 steps to go: slurp, chew, and swallow. And the chew is essential. It's the only way you taste the oyster. Here we go. Slurp. Chew. God, I love oysters. And swallow. And by chewing, I'm tasting the oyster. And the best way to describe the taste of an oyster is it's like chewing the ocean. It's amazing. Now, there's lots of ways to serve oysters as well. Let me show you a few tips. You can use any surface at all to present oysters. I sometimes use bits of tile, old cutting boards, a shingle, or a bit of wood that we've cut into rounds, a log that's been sliced into rounds. The secret is to use the tops to steady the bottoms, and that way the oysters stay level and don't spill their liquor, the delicious juice that's inside each oyster. Now this is one of my favorite ways to eat an oyster. These are actually dill flowers from our farm. And when they're in season, you can take them and just snip a little bit on top of each oyster. A little bit of dill flower. It's beautiful and it's tasty, and dill works so well with oysters. Then last but not least, this is our famous Bloody Mary ice. It's an actual Bloody Mary made with a little bit of extra sugar so it doesn't freeze solid, and it's a wonderful way to eat an oyster. Prince Edward Island's oysters with Bloody Mary ice and fresh dill flowers. Oysters always seem to be the life of the party. Maybe it's because they have a reputation for certain side effects, maybe it isn't, maybe it's because they're awesome and delicious. But regardless of why, every oyster represents somebody's hard work. Somebody got up early in the morning and worked hard. Somebody went to sea, somebody brought those oysters ashore. And that's what it's all about right here on Prince Edward Island.
Proudly presented by Sobeys. At Sobeys, we have a proud history of working with local growers and producers. We always buy from local growers first and work extensively with them to offer our customers a wide selection of local products. Sobeys is incredibly inspired by our community partners and their unwavering commitment to their respective communities.